Hello, Rhonda. I'd like to purchase the vacant building you have in Jeffersonville, Indiana. My friend George has been calling you about this building. He's been asking you questions. You've been telling him about it, giving him updates. And he reached out to me. He said, Luke, you know what to do with this building. And I looked at it and I said, yeah, that looks like a high traffic retail building. This looks like my kind of building. We've got cars going by. We've got people going to the Taco Bell that's right there. We've got people going to the Sherman-Williams. We got people going to the other shops that are right around this building. And I can track those people down. I can figure out where they're shopping in other parts of town, other days of the week, other parts of the month before they came here. I can see what other shops they went to. If I can see where these people that are shopping around here are shopping in shops in other side of town and other places that are not right here, it's time to add that brand to this location and make it happen for that business to add another location and create more revenue. And we could put this building to work by getting the right tenant to go into this building going forward. My name's Luke Smith. I love studying data. I love doing real estate deals with data and a data approach to real estate. I've bought hundreds or thousands of properties over time, all across the country in lots of different places and lots of different ways. I started out with really basic, cheap properties, the cheapest ones I could find. Desert squares, in the middle of nowhere, that hardly even have access kinds of properties. I started adding access, started adding maps, I started adding utilities, adding all kinds of things, but especially sold those properties when I started adding owner finance offers to those properties. I sold them by the hundreds, sold them here on YouTube. I sold them on websites all across the internet. You can see a lot of tracks in my history of those kinds of properties. I started scaling up into higher dollar properties, better properties closer to town, properties closer to houses, properties closer to customers, properties closer to business and jobs and all kinds of things, supplies, gas stations and things. And as I did that, the dollars went up and I started getting into better and more higher quality properties from what I was into before. And as I did that, I started getting into some of these high traffic retail properties, like this property you have here. Before this building was built here, it would be a vacant property like this. And I started offering those properties up for sale. I tried to sell them through different brokers. I tried to sell them through auctions. I tried to sell them through all kinds of different channels. I sold some here and some there, but I didn't sell them in volume until I started finding tenants for those properties. I tried to sell them to other owners of those properties, and that was like pulling teeth. It doesn't work to sell these kinds of properties until you find a tenant that's going to use and love and take care of this property. Somebody that's going to make money off of doing business on this property. When I find that tenant, then their partners, their brothers, their other landlords, other people show up and buy the property from me and rent it to them and go run with it from there. When I started seeing that in the data and started seeing it on other people's properties, that it wasn't until you get a tenant that the real numbers start to sing in those properties. I started spending more time and energy working on finding tenants for those properties. And when I started finding tenants for those properties, they said, Luke, how about the next one? How about another one? Can you give me more of these properties? We can increase the business even more. And so now I'm looking for other properties to give to those same tenants. I'd like to offer them the data that shows what customers are here and how much business they should be able to do here, and offer them the finance, the owner finance that I learned from a lot of the cheaper properties. I'd like to offer them the finance to build it for them, to create it, to make it easy for them to take over this property and turn into their brand. These vacant buildings like this work a lot in the same fashion as the vacant land that I work on. It's the same tenants. They can do it faster. They can say, Luke, we need to change this color, change this, change that, and I can run my business here and we'll go for it. So if you're open to this kind of offer, please take a look at my offer. I would like to buy the property from you. In the meantime of me buying it from you, I would like to present it to those tenants. I would like to show them the data. I would like to offer them the finance to put it together to make it happen. And when they say, yes, Luke, I agree with your numbers, let's just sign the same contracts we did before or change the location and maybe change some numbers around. Let's go do it again. I'll come back to you and say, okay, I'm ready to go. I'd like to close this as fast as we can and go run it out with these tenants. So if you're open to that kind of offer, please take a look at that offer that's included with this video and the proof of funds show that I can pay for it. If you're interested in that data, the data dance of that kind of real estate, please take a look at the link that's in the description below. It'll take you back to my little school community where we've got a lot of like-minded people that like working on properties like this and figuring them out and making them happen. I try to teach as much as I can, but I get me learning in lots of ways too. And so if you're interested in that, try that link within the description below. If you're interested in financing these kinds of properties out into the future, you like owning them for the cash flow, if you like collecting the depreciation and rents over time, let me know. I've got lots of different properties in the pipeline, different phases of the pipeline that I'd like to hand off and recapitalize so I can go back and do this again. on more properties like this one, got proof of funds ready to go. For other ones, a future one, let me know. I'd like to tell you about them, tell you about the brands and the shops and the locations and the ones that are ready that I'm ready to hand off and pass off. And it doesn't have to be full market prices. It can be good prices that you can run with, because I just want to recapitalize and go do more of them, create more of these cash flow and assets going forward. If you're interested in that, reach out to me. My contact information is on ruralvacantland.com. You can see a bunch of other properties I've worked on there over time, the smaller dollar ones, bigger dollar ones I do through brokers and more traditional markets. You can see them by looking me up in the county records and lots of different counties. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's Luke Smith, land.com. See you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.